Hello everyone, welcome to Unacademy, India's largest learning platform. In today's session, we'll continue with the NCERT. Yes, in today's part, we'll see NCERT of 8th standard. Yes, yes. So, in which we'll cover page by page NCERT of 8th standard, social and political life. Yes, it's my pleasure to welcome you all on Unacademy, where you will get daily life classes, structured courses, unlimited access for live and recorded classes, along with live tests, which will help you to evaluate yourself. Yes, friends, we 100 plus top educators will guide you throughout the preparation. Yes, it's me, Rushikesh Inamdar, guiding UPSC aspirants for more than 8 years. You can follow me on Unacademy and you can join our Telegram group to get daily updates. Yes, friends, those aspirants are looking for any particular module or subject. We have 15,000 plus courses available on our platform. So you can join as per your convenience. We have courses for the subjects like polity, governance and international relations, history, Indian economy, social, science and technology, social issues, environment and ecology, along with art and culture, and many more answer writing courses. Yes, so you can join as per your convenience. Yes, we have two paid subscriptions like Plus subscription and Iconic subscription, where you will get 10% discount using a referral code RBI Live. Yes, friends. So do not forget to use code RBI Live to get 10% discount. Yes, I hope everyone is aware about UPSC's notification released for Civil Services Preliminary Examination 2021. So, date of preliminary examination is 27th June 2021 and last date to apply for the preliminary examination 2021 is 24th March this month, 24th March till 6 p.m. Yes. So all details regarding vacancies and further details you can visit UPSC's website or you can watch Unacademy's videos where we have covered A to Z information regarding notification. Yes, friends, those aspirants are eagerly waiting for our new batch. We are going to start new batches from 10th March. Yes, prelim focused batches and our top educators will guide you in these batches. So hurry up and enroll yourself. Yes, friends, these are the combo options available for the subscription for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. Yes, again, you can use code RBI Live to get 10% discount in your subscription. Yes, so this is the combo courses available. Yes, friends. Now, in today's marathon session, we'll start with the social and political life part 3, NCRT's part 3, and our part 1 for the class 8th NCRT. So, in today's part, we'll see some chapters mentioned or given in this NCRT page by page. Yes, friends. So, I hope everyone is ready Yes, friends. Now, yes, hurry up. We'll start today's session with Class 8 NCERT Social and Political Life. In previous marathon session, we have covered these two NCERTs. Yes, we have covered these two NCERTs of class 6 and class 7. Now in today's session, we'll start class 8 NCERT. Yes, before going to start today's session, just have a look which chapters will cover throughout the series of this NCERT marathon. Yes, we'll cover the Indian Constitution and Secularism. In this unit, we'll cover the Indian Constitution and understanding secularism. Then we'll learn Parliament and the making of laws. Yes, where why do we need a parliament and understanding laws? Yes, after that we'll study the judiciary. So in which we will cover judiciary and understanding our criminal justice system. After that, we'll learn social justice and the marginalized. Yes, understanding marginalization and confronting marginalization. Yes, yes, hello everyone. And after that, we'll learn economic presence of the government, in which we'll cover public facilities and law and social justice. Yes, friends. Now, start with today's first chapter, the Indian Constitution. Yes, friends. Yes, now, as we know, there are a number of stories mentioned in the book. So, we'll cover important stories. Remaining stories you can cover whenever you have idle time. Yes. Now, in this chapter, we'll study about our constitution, where in large societies in which different communities of people live together. Yes, yes, Ram Kumar. Now we are studying NCERT class 8. Yes, so in large societies in which different communities of people live together and the rules are formulated through consensus, and modern countries, this consensus is usually available in written form, and a written document in which we find such rules is called constitution. Yes, general definition of constitution. Then yes, now we'll see the features of our constitution in the various chapters of this book. Yes, friends. Now, why does a country need Constitution. Yes, with the question, we'll start today's series. Why does a country or a nation need a constitution? Yes. So, most countries in the world have a constitution, while all democratic countries are likely to have a constitution. Yes. So, it is not necessary that all countries that have a constitution are democratic, and the constitution serves several purposes. First, it lays out certain ideals that form the basic of the kind of country that we as citizens aspire to live in. Or, put another way, a constitution tells us what the fundamental nature of our society is. A country is usually made up of different communities of people who share certain beliefs but may not necessarily agree on all issues. Yes, yes, Keshav. Yes, right, correct. Now, so a country usually made up of different communities of people who share certain beliefs but may not necessarily agree on all issues. So, a constitution helps serve as a set of rules and principles that all persons in the country can agree upon as the basis of the way in which they want the country to be governed. Yes, and this includes not only the type of government but also an agreement on certain ideals that they all believe the country should uphold. Yes, in our India's context, in 1974, the Indian National Congress made a demand for Constituent Assembly. Yes, in 1934, INC Indian National Congress made a demand for a Constituent Assembly during the Second World War. This accession for an independent constituent assembly formed only of Indians gained momentum. Yes, and this was converted in December 1946. Yes. So between December 1946 and November 1949, the Constituent Assembly drafted a constitution for independent India. Yes, free to shape their destiny at last after 150 years of British rule. The members of the Constituent Assembly approached this task with the great idealism that the freedom struggle had helped produce. Yes, we will read more about the work of the Constituent Assembly in this chapter. Yes, now see the picture of Constituent Assembly. Yes, friends, this is the picture of Constituent Assembly. Now, as we have covered, why does a nation or country need a constitution? Yes. So, usually a nation or country make up of different communities of people who share certain belief but may not be necessarily agree on all issues. So a constitution helps serve as a set of rules and principles that all persons in country can agree upon as the basis of the way in which they want the country to be governed. Yes. Now, after this, let us try and understand what we mean by this through two contrasting situations. Yes, in the recent history of Nepal, a country that borders India on the north, yes, until recently, Nepal was a monarchy. The previous constitution of Nepal, which had been adopted in 1990, reflected the fact that the final authority rested with the king, and a people's movement in Nepal fought for several decades to establish democracy, and in 2006 they finally succeed in putting an end to the power of the king. Yes, so the people had to write a new constitution to establish Nepal as a democracy. Yes, now we are studying the example of Nepal, which is our neighboring country. Yes, friends. Now, so the previous constitution of Nepal, which had been adopted in 1990 and reflected the fact that the final authority rested with the king. After that, a people's movement in Nepal fought for several decades to establish democracy, and in 2006 they finally succeeded in putting an end to the power of the king. So, the people had to write a new constitution to establish Nepal as a democracy, and the reason that they did not want to continue with the previous constitution is because it did not reflect the ideals of the country that they want Nepal to be, and that they have fought for. Yes, here we can see the struggle from the people of Nepal to establish democracy in the country. Yes. Now see, this first picture is talked about the agitations, yes, against monarchy. Now, just see the lines here. The country of Nepal has witnessed several people's struggles for democracy. There was people's struggle in 1990 that established democracy that lasts for 12 years until 2002. In October 2002, King Gyanendra, citing the Maoist uprising in the countryside as his reason, began taking over different aspects of the government with the army's assistance. And the king then finally took over as the head of government in February 2005. In November 2005, the Maoists joined, joined other political parties to sign a 12-point agreement. And this agreement signaled to the larger public an imminent return to democracy and peace. Yes, in 2006, this people's movement for democracy began, gaining immense force, and it repeatedly refused the small concession that the king made. And finally, in April 2006, the king restored the third parliament and asked the political parties to form a government. Yes, and in 2008, Nepal became a democracy after abolishing the monarchy, and the above photo show scenes from the People's Movement of Democracy in 2006. Yes. Now, in this book, it's interesting. All provisions or all information related with the stories, like where author described a story of games, right? So, as in the game of football, in which a change in the consecutive rules will change the game altogether. So, Nepal, by moving from a monarchy to a democratic government, needs to change all its consecutive rules in order to usher in a new society. Yes, this is why the peoples of Nepal adopted a new constitution for the country in 2015, and the caption alongside elaborates Nepal's struggle for democracy. Yes, and the second important purpose of a constitution is to define the nature of a country's political system. Yes, guys. So, the important purpose of a constitution is to define the nature of a country's political system. For example, Nepal's earlier constitution stated that the country was to be ruled by the king and his council of ministers, and in countries that have adopted a democratic form of government or polity. So, the constitution plays a crucial role in laying out certain important guidelines that govern decision making within these societies. Yes. So, the important purpose of of a constitution is to define the nature of the country's political system. Yes. Yes, here we have covered Nepal's movement for democracy. Now, yes, now, so in a democracy, we choose our leaders so that they can exercise power responsibly on our behalf. However, there is always the possibility that these leaders might misuse their authority, and the Constitution usually provides safeguards against this. So, this misuse of authority can result into gross injustice as demonstrated in the classroom situation below. Yes, we'll see this situation is a short. Like, Suresh is the class monitor. He is a he is bully. His classmates are not too fond of him. Mrs. Rao, the class teacher, has to leave the classroom on some urgent work. She asks Suresh to mind the class. Suresh starts picking on Anil. Anil, today I am going to report you to Mrs. Rao. But then Anil responds, but what have I done? When Mrs. Rao returns to the class, ma'am, while you were away, Anil kept talking loudly and disturbing the class. He would not listen to me. Yes, then Mrs. Rao, Anil, you will have to stay back after school today and write. I will not disobey the class monitor 100 times. But ma'am, then Anil replied, but ma'am, I did not do anything. Now see, this is the story. Yes, now in democratic societies, the constitution office often lays down rules that guard against this misuse of authority by our political leaders. In the case of Indian Constitution, about which you will read more later in this chapter, yes. So, many of these laws are contained in the section of fundamental rights. Yes, I hope you recall the chapter in previous NCERT book we have covered on the Dalit writer Om Prakash Valmiki's experience in the school from, yes. Now, we talked about the discrimination where we talked about discrimination Om Prakash faced because he was a Dalit. Now, we'll read about how the Indian Constitution guarantees the right to equality to all persons and says that no citizen can be discriminated against on grounds of religion, race, caste, gender, and place of birth. Yes, the right to equality is one of the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. Yes, friends. We'll see. Yes, the Indian Constitution guarantees the right to equality to all persons, and no citizen can be discriminated against on the ground of religion, race, caste, gender, and place of birth. Yes. So, the right to equality is one of the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. Yes, right to equality is one of the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. Yes, friends. Now, another important function that a constitution plays in a democracy is to ensure that a dominant group does not use its power against other less powerful people or groups. So, yes. So, the important functions that a constitution plays in a democracy is to ensure that a dominant group does not use its power against other that is less powerful people or group. So again, author mentioned one story, so you can read this story later on. Now, so mentioned in this story, like unhealthy situations can occur in democratic societies too, where a majority can continuously enforce decisions that exclude minorities and go against their interests. Yes, as the above storyboard illustrates, every society is prone to this tyranny of the majority. So, the constitution usually contains rules that ensure that minorities are not excluded from anything that is routinely available to the majority. So, another reason why we have a constitution is precisely to prevent this tyranny or dominion by the majority of a minority. Yes, this can refer to one community dominating other, that is inter-community domination, or members of the community dominating others within the same community, that is intra-community domination. Yes, friends. Now, now The third significant reason why we need a constitution is to save us from ourselves. Yes. Yes. So, the third significant reason why we need a constitution is to save us from ourselves. So, this may be sound strange, but what is mean by this is what we might at a time feel strongly about an issue that might go against our larger interest, and the constitution helps us to guard against this. Yes, then you can read this story. Yes, so we'll cover this small story in short. So Shabnam is in a fix. She has decision to make. Then I have two chapters left to revise for tomorrow's test, but it's time for my favorite TV program. I'm dying to watch it, but if I do that, I won't have time to finish my revision. Then, Shabnam, why are you looking so worried? I want to watch this TV program. Yes, but I have a test tomorrow. If you all watch TV, I will also want to watch. I have an idea. What if no one watches TV tonight? Then I may not be tempted. Yes, it's a good thing I did not watch TV. There are so many questions from the last two chapters. Yes, see the story and scenario mentioned in one of the home or house regarding the study and entertainment. Now, simultaneously, the Constitution helps to protect us against certain decisions that we might take that could have an adverse effect on the larger principles that the country believes in. Yes. So the Constitution helps to protect us against certain decisions that we might take that could have an adverse effect on the larger principles that the country believes in. So, for example, it is possible that many people who live in a democracy might come to strongly feel that party politics has become so acrimonious that we need a strong dictator to set this right. So, swept by this emotion, they may not realize that in the long run, dictatorial rule goes against all their interests. So, a good constitution does not allow these whims to change its basic structure. It does not allow for the easy overthrow of provisions that guarantee rights of citizens and protect their freedom. Yes. So, from above these discussions, we'll understand that the constitution plays a very important role in democratic society. Yes. Yes. So, here just remember a good constitution does not allow this whims to change or does not allow to change its basic structure, and it does not allow for the easy overthrow of provisions that guarantee rights of citizens and protect their freedom. Yes. Now, let us try and understand the ways in which the above points get translated into certain ideals and rules by studying some key features of the Indian Constitution. Before that, just have a look of this picture. So there was an extraordinary sense of unity amongst the members of the Constituent Assembly, and each of the provisions of the future constitution was discussed in great detail, and there was a sincere effort to compromise and reach an agreement through consensus. So this photo shows Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, a prominent member of the Constituent Assembly, is in the picture. Yes. Now, after that, we'll see the key features of the Indian Constitution. Yes. So, by the beginning of 20th century, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle for independence from British rule for several decades. Yes. So, by the beginning of the 20th century, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle for independence from British rule for several decades. Yes, during the freedom struggle, the nationalists had devoted a great deal of time to imagining and planning what a free India would be like. So, under the British, they had been forced to obey rules that they had very little role in making. Yes, so the long experience of author- authoritarian rule under the colonial state convinced Indians that free India should be a democracy in which everyone should be treated equally and allowed to participate in government. Yes, so what remained to be done then was to work out the ways in which a democratic government would be set up in India and the rules that would determine its functioning. Yes, this was done not by one person but by a group of around 300 people who became members of the Constituent Assembly in 1946 and who met periodically for the next 3 years to write India's constitution. Yes. Now, in these key features, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle for independence from British rule for several decades. Yes, during the freedom struggle, the nationalists had devoted a great deal of time to imagining and planning what a free India would be like. Yes, so these are the parts of key features discussed in the Constituent Assembly of India. Yes. Now, these members of the Constituent Assembly had a huge task before them. The country was made up of several different communities who spoke different languages, belonged to different religions, and had distinct cultures. Yes, also, when the constitution was being written, India was going through considerable turmoil. Yes, the partition of the country into India and Pakistan was imminent, and some of the princely states remained undecided about their future, and the socio-economic condition of the vast mass of the people appeared dismal. Yes, so all of these issues play on the minds of the members of the Constituent Assembly as they drafted the Constitution. Yes, they rose to the occasion and gave this country a visionary document that reflects a respect for maintaining diversity while preserving national unity. So the final document also reflects their concern for eradicating poverty through socio-economic reforms as well as emphasizing the crucial role the people can play in choosing their representatives. Yes, just see this picture of the drafting committee chairman Baba Sahib, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar is also known as the father of the Indian Constitution. So, Dr. Ambedkar believed that his participation in the Constituent Assembly helped the scheduled caste get some safeguards in the draft constitution. But he also stated that although the laws might exist, scheduled caste still had reason to fear because the administration of these laws were in the hands of caste Hindu officers. He therefore urged scheduled caste to join the government as well as the civil services. Yes. Now, we'll see the key features of the Indian Constitution which are listed below. So, while reading this, keep in mind the above mentioned concerns of diversity, unity, socio-economic reforms, and representation that the authors of this document were grappling with. Try and understand the ways in which they tried to balance these concerns with their commitment to transforming independent India into a strong democratic society. Yes. Now, so first is federalism. Yes. So, key features of the Indian Constitution were first is federalism. So, this refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. In India, we have governments at the state level and at the center. Yes, Panchayati Raj is the third tier of government, and we have read about this in previous NCERT book. Yes, so we looked at the functioning of the state government in previous NCERT book of class 7th, and in this book we will read more about the central government. Yes, so federalism, this refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. And in India, we have governments at the state level and at the center. Yes, the vast number of communities in India mean that a system of government needed to be devised that did not involve only persons sitting in the capital city of New Delhi and making decisions for everyone. Instead, it was important to have another level of government in the states so that decisions could be made for that particular area while each state in India enjoys autonomy in exercising powers on certain issues, subjects of national concern. Yes, and subject certain issues. So, while each state in India enjoy autonomy in exercising powers on certain issues, but subjects of national concern require that all of these states follow the laws of the central government. And the constitution contains lists that detail the issues that each tier of government can make laws on. Yes, in addition, the constitution also specifies where each tier of government can get the money from for the work that it does. So, under federalism, the states are not merely agents of the federal government but draw their authority from the constitution as well. So, all persons in India are governed by laws and policies made by each of these level of government. Yes. Now see this photo. Yes. So, when the Constituent Assembly adopted the principle of universal adult franchise, Sri A.K. Iyer, a member, remarked that this was done with abundant faith in the common man and the ultimate success of democratic rule, and in the full belief that the introduction of democratic government on the basis of adult suffrage will bring enlightenment and promote the well-being, the standard of life, the comfort, and the decent living of the common man. Yes, and this picture shows the people standing in line to cast their vote. Yes. Now, the first key feature is the federalism. Yes. So, federalism refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country, and we have governments at the state level and the center. Yes. So, the vast number of communities in India mean that a system of government needed to be device that did not involve only persons sitting in the capital city of New Delhi and making decisions for everyone. So instead, it was important to have another level of government in the state so that decision could be made for that particular area. Yes, so federal system of government. And the constitution contains lists that detail the issues that each type of government can make laws on. And in addition, the constitution also specifies where each type of government can get the money from for the work and that it does. So, under federalism, the states are not merely agents of the federal government but draw their authority from the constitution as well. So, all persons in India are governed by laws and policies made by each of these levels of government. Yes. Now, second feature is the parliamentary form of government. So, the different types of government that we just read about consist of representative who are elected by the people. Yes, the parliamentary form of government. So the Constitution of India guarantees universal adult suffrage for all citizens. When they were making the Constitution, the members of the Constituent Assembly felt that the freedom struggle had prepared the masses for universal adult suffrage and that this would help encourage a democratic mindset and break the clutches of traditional caste, class, and gender hierarchies. So, this means that the people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives. Also, every citizen of country, irrespective of his or her social background, can also contest in elections, and these representatives are accountable to the people. You will read more about why representation is crucial to democratic functioning. Yes, Later on we'll see more about why representation is crucial to democratic functioning. Yes, so parliamentary form of government. After that, third is separation of powers. Yes, key features of our Indian constitution. So according to the constitution, there are organs of government. Yes, and these are the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Yes, according to the constitution, there are three organs of government. These are the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. So, the legislature refers to our elected representatives. The executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government, and the judiciary, of which we will cover later on. So, the judiciary refers to the system of courts in this country. Yes, in order to prevent the misuse of powers by any one branch of the government, the Constitution says that each of these organs should exercise different powers. Through this, each organ acts as a check on the other organs of the government, and this ensures the balance of power between all three. Yes. Now, this picture, it says that, yes, it reflects members of the Constituent Assembly feared that executive might become too strong and ignore its responsibility to the legislature. So the assembly therefore included a number of provisions in the constitution to limit and control the action taken by the executive branch of government as a whole. Yes. So the separation of powers is important key feature of our constitution. So according to the constitution, there are three organs of the government: the legislature, executive, and judiciary. So the legislature refers to our elected representative. The executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. And the judiciary refers to the system of courts in the country. And in order to prevent the misuse of power by any one of branch of government, that is legislature, executive, or judiciary, the constitution says that each of these organs should exercise different powers, and through each organ acts as a check on the other organs of government, and this ensures the balance of power between all three. Yes. Now, the word state. Yes, the word state is often used in this chapter. This does not refer to state governments. Rather, when we use state, we are trying to distinguish it from government. Yes, government is responsible for administrating and enforcing laws. The government can change with elections. The state, on the other hand, refers to a political institution that represents a sovereign people who occupy a definite territory, and we can thus speak of the Indian state. Yes, the Indian state, the Nepali state, etc. The Indian state has a democratic form of government, and the government is one of the part of state. So the state refers to more than just government and cannot be used interchangeably with it. Yes, now here author explains about the word state used in the book. Now, fourth key feature of the Indian Constitution is fundamental rights. Yes, So, after this separation of powers, we'll see the next feature of our Indian Constitution, that is fundamental rights. Yes, the section on fundamental rights has often been referred to as the conscience of the Indian Constitution. Yes, colonial rule had created a certain suspicion of the state in the minds of the nationalists, and they wanted to ensure that a set of written rights would guard against the misuse of state power in independent India. So, fundamental rights therefore protect citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of power by the state. So, the Constitution thus guarantees the rights of individuals against the state as well as against other individuals. Yes. So, the fundamental rights has often been referred to as the conscience of the Indian Constitution. Yes, and fundamental rights protect citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of power by the state, and the Constitution guarantees the rights of individuals against the state as well as against other individuals. Yes. So the various minority communities also express the need for the Constitution to include rights that would protect their groups. The Constitution, therefore, also guarantees the rights of minorities against the majority. As Dr. Ambedkar has said about these fundamental rights, their object is twofold. Yes, the first objective is that every citizen must be in a position to claim those rights, and secondly, these rights must be binding upon every authority that has got the power to make laws. Yes, in addition to fundamental rights, the Constitution also has a section called Directive Principles of State Policy. So, this section was designed by the members of the Constituent Assembly to ensure greater social and economic reforms and to serve as a guide to the independent Indian state to institute laws and policies that help reduce the poverty of the masses. Yes, now this is all about fundamental rights. Yes. Now, the fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. Just have a look. Right to equality. First, fundamental right to equality. So, all persons are equal before the law. This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the laws of the country. It also states that no citizen can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, caste, or sex. So, every person has access to all public places, including playgrounds, hotels, shops, etc. So, the state cannot discriminate against anyone in matters of employment, but there are exceptions to this that you will read. Yes, so we'll see these exceptions in this book itself. So, the practice of untouchability has also been abolished. Yes, second, right to freedom. So this includes the right to freedom of speech and expression, the right to form associations, the right to move freely and reside in any part of the country, and the right to practice any profession, occupation, or business. Yes, then, right against exploitation. So the Constitution prohibits human trafficking, forced labor and employment of children under 14 years of age. Then, right to freedom of religion. Yes, religious freedom is provided to all citizens. Every person has the right to practice, profess, and propagate the religion of their choice. This is the right to freedom of religion. Then, fifth fundamental right, culture and educational rights. So the Constitution states that all minorities, religious or linguistic, can set up their own educational institutions in order to preserve and develop their own culture. Yes. Then, sixth is right to constitutional remedies. So, this allows citizens to move the court if they believe that any of their fundamental rights have been violated by the state. Yes. So the right to constitutional remedies allows citizens to move the court if they believe that any of their fundamental rights have been violated by the state. Yes. So this is all about fundamental rights. Is the key feature of our Indian Constitution. Now we'll see next key feature is secularism. So a secular state is is a secular state is one in which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. Yes. Now we now understand the ways in which country's history often determines the kind of constitution that a country adopts for itself. The constitution plays a crucial role in laying out the ideals that we would like all citizens of the country to adhere to, including the representatives that we elect to rule us. Yes, just like in the games of football, a change of consecutive rules will affect the game, like Indian constitution has been amended over the years to reflect new concerns of the polity. Often a major change in the constitution means a change in the fundamental nature of the country. So we saw this in the case of Nepal, how it needed to adopt a new constitution after it became a democracy. So, the different features of the Indian constitution outlined above involve complicated ideas that are often not easy to grasp. Don't worry too much about this for the moment. In the rest of the yes. Now, in further also, we'll read more about the different features of the Indian Constitution and understand more sustainably what they mean. Yes, just have a look on these photographs. Yes. So these photographs shows various members of the Constituent Assembly signing a copy of the Constitution at its final session on 24 January 1950. The first photo from top shows Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru signing, yes, in this picture. Then second photos is of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, President of the Constituent Assembly, and the last picture photo shows the following persons like Shri Jairam Das Daulatram, Minister for Food and Agriculture, Rajkumari Amrit Kaur, Health Minister, Dr. John Mathai, Finance Minister, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Deputy Prime Minister, and behind him Sri Jagjeevan Ram, Labour Minister. Yes, these are the members of the Constituent Assembly signing a copy of the Constitution. Yes, and the Constitution also mentions the fundamental duties along with fundamental rights. Yes, yes. Now, after this, we'll see understanding the secularism. Yes, friends. So before that, just have a recap what we have covered in the first chapter, the Indian Constitution. Yes. So why does a country or nation need a constitution? So here we have covered a constitution helps serve as a set of rules and principles that all persons in country can agree upon as the basis of the way in which they want the country to be governed. And this, yes, then we have learned about the Nepal's movement or people movement for democracy. Yes, then we have covered how Indian Constitution guarantees the right to equality to all persons, and a constitution plays in a democracy is to ensure that a dominant group does not use its power against other or less powerful people or groups. Yes, so after that we learn a good constitution does not allow whims to change the basic uh, to change its basic structure, and it does not allow for the easy overthrow of provisions that guarantee rights of citizens and protect their freedom. Then we have covered the key features of the Indian Constitution like federalism, parliamentary form of government, separation of powers, legislative or legislature, executive and judiciary. So legislature, executive and judiciary. After that we have covered fundamental rights, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Yes, yes. And after that, we have covered secularism, Yes, Srishti, today we are studying NCERT of 8th standard. Yes, social and political life. Then we have covered the next feature, that is secularism. Now, we'll continue with the next chapter, that is understanding secularism. Yes. Now just see the initial lines. Imagine yourself as a Hindu or a Muslim living in a part of the United States of America where Christian fundamentalism is very powerful. Suppose that despite being a US citizen, no one is willing to rent their house to you. How would this make you feel? Would it not make you feel resentful? What if you decided to complain against this discrimination and were told to go back to India? Would this not make you feel angry? Your anger could take two forms. First, you might react by saying that Christians should get the same treatment in places where Hindus and Muslims are in a majority. This is form of retaliation. Yes, or you might take the view that there should be justice for all. You may fight stating that no one should be discriminated against on grounds of their religious practices and beliefs. So, this statement rests on the assumption that all forms of domination relating to religion should end. So, this is the essence of secularism. And in this chapter, we'll read more about what which means in the Indian context. Yes. Now, so in this chapter, understanding secularism will start. Yes, history provides us with many examples of discrimination, exclusion, and persecution on the grounds of religion. Yes, history provides us with many examples of discrimination, exclusion, and persecution on the grounds of religion. And you may have read about how Jews were persecuted in Hitler's Germany and how several millions were killed. Now, however, the Jewish state of Israel treats its own Muslims and Christians minorities quite badly. In Saudi Arabia, non Muslims are not allowed to build a temple, church, etc., and nor can they gather in a public place for prayers. Yes, so in all the above examples, member of one religious community either persecute or discriminate against members of other religious communities. Yes, these acts of discrimination take place more easily when one religion is given official recognition by the state at the expense of other religions. Yes, clearly, no one would wish to be discriminated against. So, because of their religion, not dominated by another religion. So, in India, can the state discriminate against citizens on the grounds of their religion? Yes, now we'll see what is secularism. Yes, in the previous chapter, we read about how the Indian Constitution contains fundamental rights that protect us against state power as well as against the tyranny of the majority. Yes, the Indian Constitution allows individuals the freedom to live by their religious belief and practices as they interpret these. So, in keeping with this idea of religious freedom for all, India also adopted a strategy of separating the power of religion and the power of the state. Yes, secularism refers to this separation of religion from the state. Yes, yes. So ultimately, the secularism refers to the secularism is the separation of religion from the state in single line. Now, what is the important to separate religion from the state? Why it is why is it important? Yes, why is it important to separate religion from the state? Yes, as discussed above, the most important aspect of the secularism is its separation of religion from state power. So, this is important for a country to function democratically. Almost all countries of the world will have more than one religious group living in them. Within these religious groups, there will most likely to be one group that is in a majority, and if this majority religious groups has access to state power, then it could quietly easily use this power and financial resources to discriminate against the persecuted persons of other religions. Yes. So why is it important to separate religion from the state? So the most important aspect of secularism is its separation of religion from state power. So a country to function so this is important for a country to function democratically. So almost all countries of the world will have more than one religious group living in them. So within these religious groups, there will most likely to be one group that is in a majority, and if this majority religious group has access to state power, then it could quite easily use this power and financial resources to discriminate against and persecute persons of other religions. So this tyranny of the majority could result in the discrimination, co- co- yes, coercion, and at times even the killing of religious minorities. Yes, Yes. So the tyranny of the majority could result in the discrimination, coercion, and at times even the killing of religious minorities. The majority could quite easily prevent minorities from practicing their religions. So, any form of domination based on religion is in violation of the rights that a democratic society guarantees to each and every citizen, irrespective of their religion. So, therefore, the tyranny of the majority and the violation of fundamental rights that can result is one reason why it is important to separate the state and religion in democratic societies. Yes. So another reason that is it is important to separate religion from the state in democratic societies is because we also need to protect the freedom of individuals to exist from their religion, embrace another religion, or have the freedom to interpret, yes, have the freedom to interpret religious teachings differently. To understand this point to better, let us take the practice of untouchability. We might feel that we dislike this practice within Hinduism and therefore you want to try and reform it. However, if state power were in the hands of those Hindus who support untouchability, then do you think that you would have an easy task to try and change this? Yes, even if you were part of the dominant religious group, you might face a lot of resistance from fellow members of your community. So these members who have control of state power might say that there is only one interpretation of Hinduism and that you do not have the freedom to interpret this differently. Yes. Now, so now we'll see what is Indian secularism. Yes. So the Indian Constitution mandates that the Indian state be secular. Yes, the Indian Constitution mandates that the Indian state be secular. According to the Constitution, only a secular state can realize its objective to ensure the following. Yes, first, that one religious community does not dominate another. Second, that some members do not dominate other members of the same religious community. And third, that the state does not enforce any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom of individuals. Yes, the Indian state works in various ways to prevent the above domination. So, first, it uses a strategy of distancing itself from religion. Second, the Indian state is not ruled by a religious group and nor does it support any one religion. Yes, in India, government spaces like law courts, police stations, government schools, and offices are not supposed to display or promote any one religion. Yes. So, if we'll see what is Indian secularism, see this picture. is talked about Indian secularism. Yes. So, our secular Indian secularism is make sure that, or we can say a secular state can realize its objective to ensure that one religious community does not dominate another. Yes, that some members do not dominate other members of the same religious community, and the state does not enforce any particular religion or not take away the religious freedom of individuals. Yes. Now you can read the story later on. In government school in Simapur, students want to celebrate a religious festival. And this is a picture of government high school. So just we'll see the small story. In a government school in Simapur, students want to celebrate a religious festival. So this is in the government school. The student asked, "Sir, there is a big religious festival next month. We have never celebrated it in school. Can we do it this year?" Yes. Then the teacher replied that, "I'm afraid that it's not possible, Rekha. This is a government school. We cannot give importance to any one religion. Private school may do that. Government schools don't celebrate any religious festivals in the school premises. So most religious festivals are public holidays so that we can celebrate these at home." Yes, then I never thought of it this way. I guess we can always celebrate it outside school. Anyway, we were planning to celebrate it in our locality. Yes. So this is the small story. So in the above storyboard, the celebration of the religious festival within the school would have been a violation of the government's policy of treating all religions equally. So government schools cannot promote any one religion either in their morning prayers or the religious celebration. So this rule does not apply to private schools. Now, the second way in which Indian secularism works to prevent the above domination is through a strategy of non-interference. Yes, this means that in order to respect the sentiments of all religions and not interfere with religious practices. Yes, the state makes certain exceptions for particular religious communities. Yes, Indian secularism works to prevent the above domination is through a strategy of non-interference, and this means that in order to respect the sentiments of all religions and not interfere with religious practices, the state makes certain exceptions for particular religious communities. Now see, this is a picture, a group of friends who have recently bought scooters are meeting to go for a ride together. So one friend said that, "Hey, I hope you have a helmet. You know the law in Delhi requires that you wear one. Why are not you wearing a helmet? Do you want to be fined? Don't worry, I'll be not fined. Hey Paramjit, why won't you be fined? For 6, wearing a pagri is a very important part of our religion. The government cannot force me to wear a helmet. Yes, now in this, the above storyboard, Paramjit, the Sikh youth, does not have a wear helmet. This is because the Indian state recognized the wearing pagri is essential to Sikh religious practice, and in order not to interfere with this, allows an exception in the law. Yes, so the third way in which Indian secularism works to prevent the domination listed earlier is though a strategy of intervention. So, you read earlier in this chapter about untouchability. This is the good example where members of the same religion, upper caste Hindus, dominate other members, some lower caste within it. In order to prevent this religion based exclusion and discrimination of lower caste, the Indian constitution bans untouchability. Yes. So, in this instance, the state is intervening in religion in order to end a social practice that it believes discriminates and excludes, and that violates the fundamental rights of lower castes who are citizens of this country. Similarly, to ensure that laws relating to equal inheritance rights are respected, the state may have no intervene in the religion based personal laws of communities. Yes. So, in what way is Indian secularism different from that of other democratic countries? Yes. Now see the picture. In the United States of America, most children in government schools have to begin their school day reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and this pledge includes the words under God. It was established more than 60 years ago that government school students are not required to recite the pledge if it conflicts their religious belief. Despite this, there have been several legal challenges objecting to this phrase under God. Now, saying that it violates the separation between church and the state that First Amendment of US Constitution guarantees. Yes, the above photo shows students taking the Pledge of Allegiance in government school in the USA. Yes, so in what way is Indian secularism different from that of other democratic countries? Some of the above objectives are similar to those that have been included in the constitutions of secular democratic countries in other parts of the world. For example, the First Amendment of US Constitution prohibits the legislature from making laws respecting an establishment of religion, or that prohibit the free exercise of religion. Now, what it mean by the word establishment is that the legislature cannot declare any religion as the official religion, nor can they give preference to one religion. So in the USA, the separation between state and religion means that neither the state nor religion can interfere in the affairs of one another. Yes, so there is one significant way in which Indian secularism differs from the dominant understanding of secularism as practiced in the United States of America. So, this is because unlike the strict separation between religion and the state in America secularism, in Indian secularism, the state can intervene in religious affairs. Yes. Now, we have to read that Indian Constitution intervened in Hindu religious practices in order to abolish untouchability. In Indian secularism, though the state is not strictly separate from religion, it does maintain a principal distance vice versa religion. So this means that any interference in religion by the state has to be based on the ideals laid out in the constitution, and these ideals serve as the standard though which we can judge whether the state is or is not behaving according to secular principles. Yes. So the Indian state is secular and works in various ways to prevent religious domination. Domination. Yes. So the Indian state is secular and works in various ways to prevent religious domination, and the Indian Constitution guarantees fundamental rights that are based on these secular principles. Yes, however, this is not to say that there is no violation of these rights in Indian society. Yes, indeed, it is precisely because such violations happen frequently that we need a constitutional mechanism to prevent them from happening, and the knowledge that such right exists make us sensitive to their violations and enables us to take action when these violations take place. Yes. Now, in February 2004, France passed a law banning students from wearing any conspicuous religious or political signs or symbols such as a Islamic headscarf, the Jewish skull cap, or large Christian crosses. So this law encountered a lot of resistance from immigrants who are mainly from the former French colonies of Algeria, Tunisia, and Morocco. In 1960s, France had faced a shortage of workers and therefore had provided visas for these immigrants to come and work in the country. The daughters of these immigrants often wear headscarves while attending schools. However, with the passing this new law, they have been expelled from their school for wearing headscarves. Yes, this is the story. A law passed in the France. Yes. Now, yes. So, in this chapter, we have covered secularism. So, we have covered what is secularism. Then, why is it important to separate religion from the state? Then, we have covered what is Indian secularism through a story in the school. Then, also a strategy of non interference. Yes, so ultimately, the Indian state is secular and works in various ways to prevent religious domination, and the Indian constitution guarantees fundamental rights that are based on the secular principles. Yes. So it's all about the unit 1, where we studied about the Indian constitution and secularism Yes, the Indian Constitution and understanding secularism. In the next lecture, we'll start with the Parliament and the making of laws, where we'll cover why do we need a Parliament and understanding laws and further units as well. Yes. So in today's lecture, we covered the Indian Constitution. Why does a nation or country need a constitution? Then the Indian Constitution and key features we have covered, like federalism, parliamentary form of government, separation of powers, fundamental rights, and secularism. Then we studied about understanding secularism. What is secularism? Yes, we have covered. Then why is it important to separate religion from the state? Then we have covered what is Indian secularism. Yes. So it's all about the unit 1. In the next lecture, we'll continue with the remaining part of this NCERT class 8th book. Yes, till the time you can revise what we have covered in today's lecture. Yes. Yes. So, in the next lecture, we'll continue with the remaining part of this NCERT. Till the time, keep revising what we have covered in the NCERT marathon sessions and previous lectures as well. Do not forget to join our Telegram group using this link, and you can use referral code RBI Life to get 10% discount in the subscription. Yes, friends, please like, share, and subscribe our Unacademy videos, and do not forget to hit the bell icon for the notifications and regular updates. Yes, friends, till the next time, keep studying, keep learning, take care, and all the best.